Does retiring hurt your credit score? I mean, does it even matter anymore? You're retired, man. Hey, we don't need to worry about that working stuff anymore. Does it? Does it affect your credit score when you retire? I've got 10 things for you to think about. Now, when you're actually retiring, it doesn't actually hurt your credit score, but when you retire, most people have a change in lifestyle. What does that mean? That means your income goes down. So, for any of you who are already retired, give me some comments. Has it affected your credit score negatively, positively? I want to know. I'm only 2.5 years in. Let me know. So, my first point of 10 for you to think about is lenders look at what's called debt to income ratio. Are you even going to need to worry about lenders anymore when you're retired? Well, if you're downsizing to a different house, if you're not going to pay cash for it, you might need a loan. You might need a lender. If you're going to buy a car in the future, which I'm sure probably going to go through 2 or 3 cars in retirement at least, right? Unless you're going to pay for it outright, yes, you'll need a lender. So lenders look at debt to income ratio. Now, when you retire, your income goes down in most cases. Your debt, if you have any debt, will stay the same. Your ratio is going to shift, okay? And not in a positive manner for lenders. So if you're going to be making a purchase in retirement, yes, your credit score still matters. Number 2, this goes along with number 1. If you are going to make a large purchase, will it be a home? Will it be a car? A lot of people won't need to make that. You know, a lot of people might have their home paid off, all right? Now, credit scores on cars, yeah, it's going to matter, but do you have the cash to pay for it? Okay? If you're not going to be making any large purchases in retirement, then your credit score might not matter that much. But how do you know? How do you know, guys? How do you know 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, something comes up and you need to move? You know, who knows what it could be? It could just be a life change. Those changes happen. You never know when they're going to happen sometimes too, right? And hey, for you people seeing me for the first time, my name is Duane. This is a channel on moderate retirement. If you're interested in something like that, please think about subscribing and like the video as well. Point number 3, credit card companies may increase your interest rates if your credit score drops, okay? I'm sure most of you have credit cards, right? Hopefully you pay it off monthly, but if you don't, you've got to worry about those interest rates. If your credit score drops, interest rates on your credit cards can go up. Hopefully you don't have large balances, but if you do, that can be a big deal. Hopefully you don't have a life-changing event that causes you to put more charges on your credit card. Interest rate can go up if your credit score drops. Number 4, insurance on your home, insurance on your auto, okay? If you need to make a change in your homeowner policy, which unfortunately I have to this year. I live in what's called a high fire district. There's a very good chance of fire where I live out here in the high desert. It's kind of hard to get homeowners policy for that. For whatever reason, this year my insurance policy has been dropped. I have to get a new policy. Now, thankfully, my credit score has stayed about where it was when I was working. Again, I'm only 2.5 years into it though, so it could change in the future. You know, my income has dropped. I'm going to have to search for a new home insurance policy. Now, you know, it shouldn't be affected by my credit score because it's remained the same. But how do you know in the future, guys, if your credit score drops, your insurance policies, they may be affected by this. Number 5, for those of you who are in retirement and you're like, you know what, I don't like where I live. I need more, more social activities, whatever it is. I'm thinking about going to the villages or something like that. Yeah, I know there's been some negative publicity in the villages lately, but something like that. You know what? When you do that, you might need to put down a security deposit. That can be affected by your credit scores. Okay? I didn't know this before I started researching it, but yeah, insurance policies on whatever you might need an insurance policy or insurance deposit for, the security deposit, excuse me. Time for that retirement vodka, man. I'm getting all loopy. Nothing like retirement vodka in the afternoon. Security deposits. They may be affected by an increase in your credit score. Okay, so remember that. So the next 5 points I have here are how to prevent your credit score from dropping when you retire. Number 6, and most of these points will go along with, people that are still working as well. Always pay your bills on time. I don't know about you guys, but when I was young, I was an idiot. I let my credit card balance go up and up and up and up. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll pay it off when I can. Dumb, dumb, dumb. My credit score went boo. If you have a balance, pay it on time every month. The easiest way to keep your credit scores high. Point number 7, overall. Keep your balances low on your cards. What does low mean? Less than 30% of the overall amount of borrowing capacity you have. Keep what you owe less than 30%. Okay? That should keep those credit scores high. And in retirement, again, is it as important? Okay, overall, is it as important in retirement as, say, when you were working, when you were in your 30s, 40s, 50s, to keep your credit scores up? It's debatable, right? You probably won't be making as many large purchases in retirement, but you might. You never know. Life just happens sometimes, right? You could, your kids could come to you 10 years into retirement. We really need help on this house. If you're going to go on there as a co-signer or something, yeah, you're going to need a good credit score. You never know. You never know what could happen. Number 8, if you have accounts that have long histories, you might have had these accounts open for like 30 years, 35 years. Don't close those accounts. Keep them open. The worst thing you can do that will affect your credit score is to close long-standing accounts. You might not have used it in a long, long time. You know what? Don't close it. That's like the worst thing you can do. Okay? Number 9, maintain active credit accounts by making small purchases. So this goes along with point number 8. Instead of closing those accounts, every once in a while, just make a small purchase on it, and pay it off monthly. I've done this recently because I recently switched from I've had a Citi card going back to, I think, 1990, 85. I've recently switched most of my purchases over to a points card where I can get stuff like 5% off on groceries, man. I'm living the high life now. So most of those charges I put on my old card have gone to my new card. So what does that mean? That means I've got a very small balance on my old credit card, but I still make small purchases on there every month to keep that account open. So there are ways you can do this to keep your accounts open. Just make small purchases. Have like a $200 balance every month or something that you pay off every month. Keep it open instead of closing it. Number 10, and this is important again for anyone in any walk of life, any age. Always review your credit report. I would say at a minimum every year. What I usually do is every year I'll print it out. I'll see what my score is. I'll see all the outstanding credit history and I'll tuck it away. Next year, at the same time, I'll do the same thing. Print it out. Compare to last year. Compare to 2 years ago, 3 years. How's your score? Number 1. Number 2, are there any discrepancies? Because as you know, in this day and age, there's been a lot of fraud. A company that you're with might not notify you until like 2, 3, 4 months after fraud's happened. What happened in those 2, 3 months that people had your information? You might not know unless you check your credit report. Do that at least once a year. You don't have to go crazy doing it like every month, but at least once a year, check that. Okay? So there you go, guys. Overall, do credit scores matter in retirement? In most cases, I would say yes, they do. So look at some of those points I brought up, take them to heart, do something, don't. Again, guys, as long as we keep our mind on things that matter in retirement and plan toward that, as always, we got this.